Nilisema mwaka wa 98 kwamba nitajiuzulu ama nitastaafu kipindi hiki cha miaka 5 ikisha. Wengine hawakuamini kwa sababu wanaamini power katika kontinenti la Afrika, kwamba kuna mtu anaweza kuwacha power ya urais. Power iko kwa wananchi, na sisi tu ni wadhamini yao.
All right, good morning, everyone, and a happy Jamhuri Day. Welcome. I'm glad you're watching Afriq Diaspora TV. Welcome to today's newspaper review. Indeed, it is a wonderful morning as Kenyans are celebrating the 60th Jamhuri Day since independence and since we became a republic. It's a wonderful morning here in Kenya, and people are really eager, waiting to see if there's anything they can count that has happened for the 60 years of independence. So welcome to Afriq Diaspora 24-hour TV, so that I can be able to take you through what is on the headlines today. So I'll just thank you very much for joining this wonderful morning. Of course, this is Afriq newspaper review. This is a daily newspaper review that we get an opportunity to take you through what are making the headlines today. So as Kenyans are celebrating their 60th Jamhuri Day, the 60 years after independence, that is almost a century. We are past half a century. So we are trying to see what are Kenyans expecting today. So kindly, as you're joining me this wonderful morning, ensure that you invite others, you share the link with your friends so that we can be able to watch together. And maybe shortly, I'll also be able to allow you to join the studio so that we can be able to partake in this conversation. So if you can be able to see on my screen, I think I'll have to start taking you through the Standard. Today, if you look at the first page of the Standard, it's really shouting. That is the Standard, the bold newspaper. It's really shouting there. You can be able to see it's telling you fossil fuel a hot potato at Dubai Climate Summit. That is matters COP28 in the United Arab Emirates. I'll indeed be trying to tell you what is happening there. And Kenya shocked the world when they sent the largest delegation over there. You can also see there's also something talking about Kiroches to lose prime properties to auctioneers. So that's the state of the country. And of course, the green light there is talking of Jamhuri Day. The editor, management, and staff of the Standard Group are wishing our customers, or wishing their customers, Jamhuri Day. So the first page of Standard, it's really talking about the country in darkness. So that is what is screaming on the first page there. So it's really talking about the blackout menace. So Sunday's national outrage resulted in a huge loss for business, nightmare for hospitals without backup generators, and frustrations for millions of homesteads. The Energy CS blamed the frequent blackouts on a lack of investment and said rationing, especially in Western Kenya, will help, as Roads Cabinet Secretary, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, blaming the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport power cut on the sabotage. So my fellow Kenyans, this is what has happened as we are ending the week. On Sunday, there was a countrywide power outrage, and when the CS Davis Chirchir was asked why there is a power outrage, he blamed the government and said that the government has not invested much in matters of energy. So that is a situation whereby the government is blaming the government for failing to do its job. But Kipchumba Murkomen is now making it more interesting because he's trying to tell us that there are some people who are trying to sabotage him. I don't know who are these people who want to see Kipchumba Murkomen out of that office, in that they're trying to sabotage his work, and that is why this power outrage and blackout in the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now, when you get this paper, I think you'll be able to know more. I'll just have to maybe read for you some of the quotes from David Churchill, who is saying, "We know where the problem is and we are addressing it. The gist of it is the lack of investment over a long time. We will be scheduling some load shedding in particular areas." So they're planning to give some power rationing. And he's saying that the government has not really invested in the matters of energy, but he's forgetting that he's been there before. It is not the first time that he's being in that department. So Kenyans should be able to know that the government is really blaming itself for not doing what it's supposed to do. What is Kipchumba Murkomen saying? He's saying that assign a team to investigate, investigators to investigate this recent failure to ensure that there are no such acts. You know, the first time that we are missing power at the airport, and what happens each and every time the power goes off, Murkomen will always be assigning a team to investigate. So I don't know if they're going to investigate the generators or what they're going to investigate. So it is up to you, maybe, to know what these guys are going to investigate. You can also see Bernard Osero has been quoted there, who is the head of corporate affairs, saying that there was a ship with only 20 containers, but it could not be worked out until morning because the cranes require power. So this is how dangerous it is when the country goes totally in blackout. Things are not working. The passengers over there who are arriving cannot be able to receive their luggage. Those people who are boarding their luggage cannot be able to be scanned. So it's really a security threat. And also Kenya is losing a lot of money during the time when the country is in blackout. So that is what is in the first page of the Standard. So if you're joining me now, kindly let me know where you are watching from. And I would like to tell you happy 60th Jamhuriday Day, as we are celebrating the years that we've taken since independence. I think there's some things that we're proud of. There's some things that we've done as Kenya that makes us proud. And when we look at them, we feel that really, as Kenyans, we've done a lot. But there are also some things that when we look at, we say that, no, it's really shameful that we're 60 years old, but we've not been able to achieve some things. So welcome so much. I can see Brother Ben is there, so ensure that you also like the video and share. Brother Benson Media, karibu sana, and happy 60th Jamhuri Day to all Kenyans. Indeed, we are really looking back to what we've managed to do as a country for the last 60 years. Let me look through some of the pages of the Standard. I have something there that is in page 2 of the Standard. It talks about no need to elect deputy governor when there is a vacancy. That is what the Senate is saying. I remember there's been a debate whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the deputy governor, the Constitution is silent on that. It doesn't talk of what is supposed to happen. Though we've been having a situation whereby if there's a vacancy in the office of the deputy governor, people normally assume that the governor is going to appoint another deputy, and this deputy is going to be vetted in the county assembly, something like that. Now they've been debate, and people wanted that a situation whereby maybe Gachagua, there's a vacancy in the office of Gachagua or in the office of the deputy governor, then the citizens or the voters should be subjected to a fresh vote so that they can be able to vote a governor. So the Senate is saying that there is no need for this one to happen. Or maybe just to take you through what they're trying to talk of, they're telling me that the proposed amendment aims to have the deputy president and the deputy governors elected directly. So this is an amendment that has been taken to parliament, but the parliament or the Senate is simply saying that, okay, there's no need of doing this. So I think they prefer a governor to be, deputy governor to be appointed by a governor rather than taking people back to the election so that you can be able to elect a deputy governor. So when you'll have your newspaper outside there, ensure that you grab and turn to page 2, you will be able to see the full story there. Or there's something also interesting for the couples there. I can be able to see it's talking of, it's over. Groom in the aborted Bomet wedding tells his bride. Something strange happened in Bomet, whereby I think you're just expecting to get to wed, then the wedding gets aborted finally. So I don't think if you can be able to convince your partner that muendelee na hii mapenzi. So somebody just decided to say that now it is over. If we could not make it at the wedding, then there is no need of continuing with this kind of marriage. And for the couples who've divorced, there's some interesting ruling that has been made there. That's a precedence that has been set, that court have urged couples to share the child equally during Christmas festive. There's normally this noise whereby if we were married and maybe we are having a child, we get divorced. So ikifika wakati wa holiday like this, now the mothers will always try to claim the responsibility of having the custody of the babies of the children. So they don't want the dads to go and see the children. So hii mambo ya baby mama na baby daddy is really becoming a thorn in the flesh of some people. But court have ordered some couples that, okay, you people divorced, but when it is Christmas, you share equal responsibility. So if the festive holiday is 4 weeks, then the father will have the child for 2 weeks and the mother will have the child for 2 weeks. So that is some good news to people struggling over there with matters of relationship. So you'll be able to read more about that ruling if you get your copy of the Standard. I'll just go through some of the interesting things that maybe people are hoping for. I find one interesting here. It's talking about Ruto has a very little to offer today as he addresses broke citizens. I think this one captures everything that is going to happen today. Kenyans are celebrating their 60th birthday, 60th Jamhuriday Day. We're expecting the president to give an address. But now the Standard is telling you that Ruto has very little to offer. Why is he having little to offer? He's going to address broke citizens. Though the Interior PS told us that 40,000 people are allowed to attend the venue where we are going to have the celebration. So we know these people who are going to attend, they're hungry. So what is the president going to tell them? Yeah, president grappling with the same enduring issues as his predecessors with his first year in power turning out to be a baptism by fire. Why do they say it is a baptism by fire? Since independence, we'll be having the same problems, fighting ignorance, fighting diseases, and maybe things like poverty. It's the same problems that we are facing. It is the 60th Jamhuriday Day, and the president is likely to give the same speech that was given by the founding president at the day that Kenya got Uhuru. So a raft of new taxes and levies introduced by the Kenya Kwanza government over the past 1 year have made life even more difficult for Kenyans than it was last year. So as we're going for today's Jamhuriday Day celebration, there is nothing to smile about. There's nothing much that Kenyans are expecting. Kenyans already hungry, Kenyans already tired, and Kenyans are angry. So the president is going to address broke citizens with empty stomach. I don't know if the stadium is going to be empty. Let us wait and see. We are told that during the inaugural Jamhuri Day celebrations in 1963, Kenya marked a significant milestone as it transitioned from British cooperation to becoming a republic. And Jomo Kenyatta, revered as the father of the nation, made a solemn promise to combat 3 formidable adversaries, which is poverty, diseases, and ignorance. But as we speak now, 60 years, we still talk of these same problems. We still talk of a country where people are poor. We still talk of a country where people die of simple diseases like malaria. And we also talk of a country where our health facilities are really poorly kitted, or they are not facilitated. And there is a lot of ignorance. So 60 years later, have we achieved anything? So that is what is awaiting us. We are going to see what the president is going to tell Kenyans today. And he's quoted there saying that we are on a clean page. I commit that we will be faithful to transforming all sectors of our economy. Everyone will, however, have to play their role to build a nation that fits all of us. So the president is telling Kenyans that we're on a clean page. The economy is doing well. We are reviving the economy. But if you listen to the experts, they're telling us that no, the economy is not doing well. The economy instead is doing bad. It is doing worse than it used to be in the previous years. So who do we believe? Do we believe the president or we believe the experts? It is up to you as a Kenyan to know who you have to believe. So just allow me to read for you. And I think this one is yours. This is a message from the German ambassador to Kenya. And this is what the German ambassador had to tell you Kenyans. So he says, pongezi Kenya kwa miaka 60 ya uhuru. Today Kenya celebrates 60 years of independence, and Germany wholeheartedly congratulates the Kenyan people on this special occasion. At the same time, I invite you to join us in celebrating the 60 years of friendship between Germany and Kenya. So Germany was the first country to recognize Kenya as a sovereign nation state, a reason enough to share with you some highlights of our cooperation. So our relationship flourishes based on a strong development cooperation and featuring some impressive number of economic, political, and cultural projects. We support and upgraded the Olkara geothermal power plant. They're the ones who have set up the TVET centers and TVET excellence centers in Nairobi and Kiambu. They've promoted the blue economy in the coast, and in partnership with the German support the small-scale farmers in Western Kenya, and in partnership with the NTV, they co-hosted the Berlin conference. So the ambassador is just trying to tell you some of the things that Germany has done in cooperation to Kenyans. So you'll get your newspaper and you'll be able to read it. Oh, there's something so interesting here. Let me try to zoom if you can be able to see that photo. It depicts what is happening here. The poor cannot sleep because they are hungry, and the rich cannot sleep because the poor are awake and hungry. No to overtaxation. Also, this guy has really nailed it. So if you look at that caption, it has really nailed the situation that you're having in the country. Currently in this country, the poor cannot sleep truly because they are hungry. And you know, when you're hungry, you can't even be able to catch up with the sleep. But again, lack of sleep for the poor also makes the rich not to sleep. Why are the rich not sleeping? The rich are not sleeping because the poor are not sleeping. They don't know what the poor is planning to do with them. So we are in really a dangerous situation as a country, and this one is tied to the cost of the living. There is a weakening shilling expected to be top of Ruto's address. So as we are waiting to listen to and to see what Ruto is going to address today, top of things that Kenyans are expecting to see is the cost of living and the weakening shilling. So will he be able to tell us a way forward? That is what each and every Kenyan is waiting to hear. So I just want to welcome those ones who are joining us now, that we are just doing some newspaper review so that we can be able to know what are top of our newspapers. So as you wake up, as you wait for the presidential speech, already you have an idea what is happening in different parts of Kenya. And that is what we do here at Afriq. We are connecting Africa. So let us see, people are waiting. The president is going to tackle the things to do with the cost of living, the weakening shilling are going to be top of his agenda. So I don't know if he'll be able to address it. Maybe there are some people who've just been quoted there. And let me try to go through and see if we can be able to get what they said. This is what Rigathi Gachagua was quoted saying. Deputy President said, "Let anyone with ideas on fixing this economy come and talk to us. On behalf of the President, I welcome ICPAK to engage with our team at the National Treasury. We invite you to share insights with the President." So Rigathi is extending some invitation or an olive leaf there to Kenyans who know how to fix the economy. So you can reach the desk and ensure that you engage him accordingly. So as we proceed, let me give you this.
Nilisema mwaka wa 98 kwamba nitajiuzulu ama nitastaafu kipindi hiki cha miaka 5 ikisha. Wengine hawakuamini kwa sababu wanaamini power katika kontinenti la Afrika, kwamba kuna mtu anaweza kuwacha power ya urais. Power iko kwa wananchi, na sisi tu ni wadhamini yao.
the line, the government is always supporting their executive programs to the detriment of CDF. So what we are saying is that we have suspended all sittings, all government businesses until CDF is expanded to our schools. Now, in January, new students are joining from 1. There are those who are continuing in high school. So we are saying they must provide money now and not later. No CDF, no parliament. 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 No CDF, no parliament.
All right. So those are some of the things that happened in the previous or the previous week, and as we are going to celebrate the 60th Jamhuri Day, you'll realize that those are some of the problems that we're still having. That one is addressing matters of ignorance and education system. 60 years later, we still see our MPs demonstrating that if the CDF money is not there, then the education system or the Kenyans are not going to get the quality of education that is needed. Or you can also be able to see the Kipruto Arap Kiro was also quoted. This is a former cabinet minister saying that some in the cabinet were his campaigners, but whether they can create a team that delivers the agenda of his administration is another matter altogether. So people are really doubting the capability of the cabinet that we are having currently, if they can be able to deliver. Another great quote that was quoted this week is Giti Natuli, professor at Multimedia University, who said it cannot be fixed. The economy cannot be fixed by overtaxation. The shilling is at a free fall. Jobless youth are engaged in crime. Those are the things he should be talking about. So those are some of the expectations, things that Kenyans are expecting that are going to be addressed by the president in his address today. Okay, another interesting, that is for the people who like the sports, is about Gor Mahia winning the case against the, how do you call it, against appeal against the ex-player. I think this is an issue that has really been disturbing this club. There's an ex-player who took them to court and really demanded a lot of money from them that has made the club to be really broke. Yes, this is the part that I wanted to talk about. How Chirchir plans to prevent outrage with power rationing. After there was a power outbreak in the country, that is on Sunday, that jeopardized most of the activities or most of the things that happened, you'll find that Davis Chirchir came to our screens and told us that they're planning to do some power rationing, and they believe that this power rationing are really going to help in regulating the power and ensure that in future we don't experience these power blackouts. So this is what he says. CS says that the Kisumu Mohoroni power line is designed to carry 80 megawatts, but was transmitting more than 120 megawatts before the collapse. So it means it was really overloaded. It's supposed to carry 80, but it was overloaded to carry to a tune of 120. That is about 140 extra. Then he also says that the ministry will build more lines to evacuate power from key generating sites, such as Olkaria, to the western parts of the country. And for the third time in your month, the Kenya on Sunday, that is something that you already know. So the CS is proposing that they are going to do what is called power rationing, and he believes that power rationing is going to be the best solution to the problems that we're having right now with the power. And if the power is rationed, then it means the use is going to be limited so that it doesn't get overloaded, because one of his claims is that there's a power, that your problem that we see that happened yesterday was because of some overload. So let us see, or let us wait and see if this one is going to give a solution that will solve the problem that is ailing the country. We've had some power problems for the last 3 occasions, and this is not good for economy. If I just go there, it talks about the COP28. I think if you buy your newspaper, you'll be able to know more about that. There is a Baringo. I want to get you to this cartoon. I just want to zoom it so that you can be able to see through it and tell me what you feel about the cartoon. Ladies and gentlemen, those ones who are joining me this morning, this is Afriq 24-hour TV, and this is your home of information. We are really connecting Africa from wherever you are. We are connecting Africans in form of news, and we're also giving you an opportunity to participate in our daily political talk show that comes to you live on Afriq TV, Mtembei TV, and Leo TV from 10 p.m. to midnight. So don't miss this kind of opportunity to engage. And I would also encourage you to ensure that you subscribe to Afriq 24-hour TV so that whenever we are live or whenever we have such kind of talk shows, you are able to join and participate actively and also get informed. So ensure you hit on the like button, you hit on the subscribe button, and turn on your, how do you call it, your bell, your notification bell, so that whenever we are live, you get notified. So as somebody is subscribing or somebody is inviting somebody to join this newspaper review, I will just welcome you to check on the cartoon that is over there. It is so interesting, and these are just an opinion. There's an opinion, the editorial opinion there. So look at the cartoon there. It's talking about they will become Hamas when they grow up anyway. There's some people that that one has been done by Gado, so you'll be able to understand it better when you'll finally have to get your, how to get your newspaper. Chirchir is also quoted up there, talking of I experienced the impact of firsthand because of the airport. So he's narrating the ordeal that happened on Sunday. He also experienced it. So when we talk of the effects of the power outrage, he's among the people who experienced the power outrage because he was at the airport and could not be able to get his luggage, because at the airport, once you get cleared, you need to get your luggage, and this luggage is always, there's a belt that normally ensures that the luggage is transported from the aircraft to the receiving point where you're going to receive it. So kindly, as you're joining us now, ensure that you like the video, you share the video, and also subscribe to Afriq 24-hour TV. And I am wishing you a happy 60th Jamhuriday Day. So as Kenyans, today we are just reflecting on some of the gains and some of the misses that we've had for the last 60 years. Remember, 60 years of independence. And as we are going to listen to the president's speech today, people are speculating and people are saying that the speech is just going to be the same speech that we listened to in 1964 when Kenya got independence. Why are we saying so? It's because the same problems that the founding fathers promised to deal with, like poverty, ignorance, and disease, are the same problems that we are encountering or we are having right now. So with me, I can see Mzalendo. Welcome and happy Jamhuri Day. So kindly karibu sana as we try to look at what the newspapers are having for us today. So maybe you can just say good morning to Kenyans, wish them a happy Jamhuri Day, tell them what are some of your expectations. What do you think the president is going to tell us, or our leaders are going to tell us now that we are celebrating Jamhuri Day for the 60th time, 60 years. We are only 40 years, we are past half the century. So do we have something that we can celebrate as a country that really we've been independent for 60 years? These are some of the things that we've achieved that makes us different from people who are maybe still under colonial power, people who are still under some corporate governments. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Leo, and good morning, Kenya, as we celebrate 60 years since we got our independence. And now, I can say that we have achieved a lot. We are not a very old nation. 60 years compared to other countries who got independence maybe 200 years ago. We are moving towards the right direction. And it is important to note of the achievements since independence. we have promulgated a constitution. We have changed our constitution, and we now have a new constitution. We have county governments. That's a very big achievement in Kenya, something that we didn't have years then. So it tells you that Kenyans are now more involved in the process of total independence. So we can now decide on what we want to do at ward level without the interference of the national government. Before, when we were one party state, everything was dictated by the presidency. I remember during the KANU days, Kenya was a place where we didn't have freedom of expression. We didn't have freedom of association. Today we enjoy all these spaces courtesy of the people who have been going out there, the civil society, the politicians who have been fighting very hard. Some of them are still with us, people like Raila Odinga. Some of them are not with us. People like Paul Mwite are still around. People like Kiraito Murungi, they are still around. People like Martha Karua, they are still around to see what they fought for them days. Some of us might have been part of the struggle, but by and large, Kenya is moving towards the right trajectory. We might have our own problems, maybe tribal, our political affiliations, but we need as a country to put our tribe aside and our political affiliations aside and look at Kenya wholesomely. Today, the worst part of our beat as a country is that I cannot live and stay freely in places that I would want to stay because of fear of my fellow citizen. It is very awkward and it is primitive. Before independence, we were one country. I remember when Jaramogi was told to form government, he decided not to do it since his brother Kenyatta was still in prison. And that is what we wanted. That uzalendo, putting Kenya first before any other political interest. Today, I would want to see Akisi settling comfortably in Homa Bay like they used to do in the past, and having a family and integrating in the community. I want to see somebody from Muranga buying land in Suba and moving with the family and settling down, and we start to learn and integrate these cultures so that we learn the business agility of the Kikuyu community. So we cannot develop as a country in isolation. That is the most dangerous part of our of where we are moving. Tribal politics has taken the best toll in our lives. People are affiliated to whatever community they come from. Leo wants to be associated with the Luo political direction. Zalendo, the same, and many other Kenyans out there. They feel tribally inclined to be part of this tribal movement, other than putting the country forward. So, Leo, this is a great show. This is a great reflection. 60 years since independence. I thought wise not to miss it, especially when you've just opened your broadcast. I know later on in the evening we might join. But good morning, Kenya. Good morning, everybody else, as we celebrate this particular day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, you've mentioned some of the things that are really important. Some of the great achievements that we've made as a country. That is 60 years since independence, and one of them you talked of devolution. And if I maybe look at today's standard, I think in the second page, there's something that is talking about devolution. I just want to get maybe your quick opinion on this. There is this thing, I think if you can be able to see my screen, it talks of no need to elect deputy governor when there is a vacancy. That is what the Senate recommends. I remember there've been a bill that is proposing that whenever there's a vacancy in the office of deputy governor and the office of the deputy president, then Kenyans or the voters should be subjected to another election so that they can be able to elect the deputy president and the deputy governor directly. Remember, the 2010 Constitution has always been silent on how to fill a gap in the office of the deputy president. And I think what has always been assumed is that if the deputy president or the deputy governor is not there, then the governor can just go ahead and appoint the next person, then be approved by the National Assembly or the County Assembly. Though it hasn't happened that much so that we get some precedents. But if you take, for example, a case study in Nairobi, when they lost the governor through impeachment. And by that time, they did not have a deputy governor. The deputy governor had resigned and the governor had not appointed another deputy governor. There were some serious cases. So in this case, they did not have a governor, they did not have a deputy governor. And what happened there, they managed to something I know it was so controversial because people believe it didn't have some legal backing. So what is your opinion on this? So do we need to have the deputy governor and the deputy president selected directly in case there's a vacancy in those offices?
Well, Leo, I've said before, and I'll continue telling you in any time we meet on these political discussions, there are some irrelevant positions that the Constitution created. Mainly, they were informed by trying to what I'm missing the word here. They were informed by trying to bring services closer to the people and putting checks and balances in the county government, but when the Senate is recommending that there's the deputy governor's position should not be filled, it simply informs you that there's no important role that the deputy governor plays in the county assembly. And it also informs you that most of the roles that the deputy governor plays are assigned by the governor. So some of these things are what is eating up in the county coffers that derail some of the developments. The money and the office of the deputy governor that he occupies, that money should have gone into other services or other sectors in the county. There's a lot of duplication in the county. That is why this constitution, the way we promulgated it, it was good, but right now it is time to look into it critically and make some changes that will benefit the people directly. There is something called over representation in our country. We are too crowded on trying to tap into the national resources with some meaningless offices at the county level. So these offices should be scrapped out, not only the deputy governor's position. We don't need ministers in the village. We don't need a minister in the village. And then at the same time, we have a minister at national level. We don't need all these ministries there. There is nothing that they are coordinating that cannot be coordinated by the national government. Remember, Kenya is a very tiny country. It's not a very big country. And if there was need to have ministers in county governments, then some of these their roles should be expanded because most of these counties are very, very close to each other. Nyamira, Kisii, Homa Bay, Migori, We don't need all these offices for ministers. There's no serious resources that are coming from this county that needs ministers to look into, or mining, for example, in Migori. There's no big mining that is happening in Migori County that cannot be handled by the Ministry of Mining in the national government. So some of this is a lot of duplication of services, because our CES, Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, then you have another minister at the county trying to perform the same role with the national government. So the governor coordinates the counties on behalf of the presidency. So these are some of the things that need to be checked into, and see whether we can reduce the expenditure that is going towards salary in paying some of these bogus offices.
Thank you so much. Karibu sana, namwona Mr. G. Mr. G, can you hear me? Mr. G.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, and happy 60th Jamhuriday Day. Karibu sana Afriq TV. Here is our source of information. Actually, we ensure that Africa is informed, Africa is connected, and Africa is engaged. That is why each and every morning we engage here as we discuss and look at some of things that are happening within our countries. So we were just looking at some of the newspaper headlines, and today, Kenya is celebrating the 60th Jamhuriday Day, and almost everybody is having expectations. In such kind of the days, you'll find that Kenyans are really eager and they are really expectant, and there are some of the things that they expect from the head of the state, that the head of state is going to give some directions or some directives that are going to change their life. After 60 years, maybe the head of state is going to pardon some of the burdens that they are going through, or the head of state is going to give or promise some goodies that is going to change their lives, as we are reflecting back of what happened 60 years ago. So maybe if you just look on my screen, I have with me the Daily Nation, and I've just opened the first page, and I can be able to see about 5 faces. I can see the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. I know you and I would have wished to see Raila the fifth there, but things did not work that way. So I can see Kenyatta the first, Moi the second, Kibaki the third, Uhuru the fourth, and Ruto the fifth. I know maybe later we'll be able to see who did what or who managed to do this. So what has been highlighted there, they're just talking of the milestones, and that at independence, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, our founding father, had lofty dreams for the country, ones that would free its citizens from poverty, ignorance, hunger, and disease. But 60 years later, and with a 5th president just 1 year into office, it's a mixed bag for Kenyans. So I don't know, what are your expectations today as you join us? You can just say hi to our viewers, tell us where you are joining from, and tell us, what are your expectations today? 60 years of independence, Jamhuri ya siku sitini, miaka sitini. Karibu.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Leo. Morning to you. I can see Mr. Mzalendo. Happy to see you, sir. I don't know where is Jex, but I'm enjoying the show. I greet also our viewers from the comment section. Salimia sana, I'm in Mombasa, and we are doing well. We are doing not well economically because our guy here, Ruto, although it's not good to blame every time or kumtajataja kila wakati, but economically we are not doing good. And now for my expectation, nikiangalia hizi sura zote hapa, hata I don't see any expectation, kwa sababu the guy ambao is engineering right now ni mtu ambaye ni muongo. So we just expect lies today, nothing new. And remember some things that have been happening at the moment, kama hii mambo ya Kenya Power, mambo ya darkness, hii mambo ya blackouts and all things. Hizi vitu ambazo zimekuwa created and zimekuwa sabotage, ambayo imefanyiwa deliberately, so that today akisimama akija kuongea, he has something to say, he has something to speak. alafu kudanganya kidogo wa Kenya. That's when akishadanganya hivyo anaongea pia kuhusu how he can improve lives of people, and yet hizi vitu zote ni vitu ambazo zinafanyika deliberately. So to me, on my side, I don't think, and I'm not expecting anything new, only lies as usual. He's coming to lie to us na atatudanganya sana, na najua mzalendo atafurahia sana vile anaenda kutudanganya. Back to you, Mr. Leo.
Thank you so much. That's really great. And to our viewers who are joining, kindly ensure you also subscribe. Alafu pia unaweza jiunga nasi on the
nilisema mwaka wa 98 kwamba nitajiuzulu ama nitastaafu kipindi hiki cha miaka 5 ikisha. Wengine hawakuamini kwa sababu wanaamini power katika kontinenti la Afrika, kwamba kuna mtu anaweza kuwacha power ya urais. Power iko kwa wananchi, na sisi tu ni wadhamini yao.
That is the voice of the second. That is Moi, the second president. I think he also did his 24 years, then gave Kibaki 10 years, Uhuru 10 years. Ruto is in second year. And that is why when we are looking at all these 5 guys that you can see, their images there, they are people who've been at the helm of the leadership of this country for the 60 years or the 6 decades that we are currently discussing. So for the ones who are joining us, namwona pale boss lady, karibu sana, brother Ben, karibu sana, and it's indeed a wonderful morning as Kenyans are expecting to listen from the heads of state and some other notable leaders who are going to give their speech. So Mr. G amesema kuwa we are doing well, but economically we are not doing well. And that one brings me to the first page of the Daily Nation, which is talking of the motorists are going to face higher charges in NTSA plan. So those are some of the things that I'm just telling you that it is not well there. So that is not the point I wanted to move to. There's this debate that has been there the entire week, and I want us to look at it and say something about it. And before I think you can be able to see what is there. There's something to do with the national government CDF fund. And indeed, the president did sign it into a law. So I'll be telling you some of the things that happened. So before that, you can just have to listen to
the
this.
line. The government is always supporting their executive programs to the detriment of CDF. So what we are saying is that we have suspended all sittings, all government businesses until CDF is expanded to our schools. Now, in January, new students are joining from 1. There are those who are continuing in high school. So we are saying they must provide money now and not later. No CDF, no parliament. 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 No CDF, no parliament.
Yes, my viewers, the people you are watching or the people you're seeing on the screen there on your screen are not the KU or the UON students rioting, or maybe they are not members of the KOTU who are maybe rioting, demanding their pay. These are the honorable members. I remember they have the title honorable, and when they write their name, they start with the prefix HON, honorable members. Like that one is Honorable Jared Okello, MP, CGH, I don't know what, Kisumu. So these members of parliament are really demonstrating and making all those kind of noise because of in national government constituency development fund, and it is good the president signed it into law yesterday. And these are some of the things that or some of the changes that you need to know, that the bursaries are part of what is normally gotten from the national government constituency development fund. So this fund takes about 2% of the national collection, what has been collected nationally. 2% goes to the 290 constituencies. And in this CDF, this is the money that is supposed to be developing some of the projects within the constituency. And they've said 40% of it will go to what is called bursaries. And if you did know, bursaries is that amount of money that the MPs, the checks that they normally give you to go and pay school fee. In other words, your MP will be giving you money to go and pay for school fee. So 40% will go to bursaries, meaning that is the largest share. Other things that you want the MP to deal with, like security, things like maybe health, things like welfare, things like infrastructural development will share the remaining 60%. So, and in this 40%, they're also saying that, initially it used to be 35%. And that is why when we talk of the NGCDF, people think of bursary. We don't think of any other thing. And any MP who stands to speak of the NGCDF, they majorly talk of the bursaries and school fees and such like things. So they're saying that 2.5% of the total revenue, I've said, is what is normally given to these constituencies. And again, they've also added something called the climate change fight. So the climate change fight is going to take 8% of this fund. So already 48% have gone. So they're going to give you the CDF. Climate change is going to take 8%. My grandmother in the village there, I don't know if she or understands what climate change is. It's going to take like 8%. And there's something called digital hubs that is also going to get its share from this CDF. And the CDF is the one that is also going to cater for the school feeding program. So maybe my question to the panelists over here, what is your opinion on this? It was signed into law. The money is going to be there. 40% will be there for bursary. We've debated it here and people are in agreements. Most people are saying that we really don't need this CDF, but now it is there with us. I think it is used to please the MPs and to cool them down. And when it is not delivered, you see how riotive they are. So could there be something that we don't know? Let me start with you, Mzalendo. Why do we have this CDF and 40% is taken to bursaries? And you know very well how bursaries are run in this country.
Thank you, Leo. First, it is shameful for Fred Okello to come on air demanding CDF. Let me just rephrase what he was trying to say. No CDF. Give me the CDF to complete my personal projects, or Parliament will not go on. So this is what these MPs are telling you, that we need the CDF to complete our personal projects. Yeah. So some of them have got huge projects that's going on. Hotels that multi-million hotels, multi-million homes that they are building, and they are building them with CDF money. So they need it badly. It is sad that the president succumbed, although I can see some regulations there. The only problem is that how is he going to implement? How is he going to ensure that the 40% goes to bursaries? I have said time and time again that the work of the MP is not to pay your child's salary, your child's education. That is not the work of the MP. The work of the MP is not to educate your children. The work of the MP is not to put food on the table for your family each and every evening. The work of the MP is not to discipline your children each and every time they do a mistake. The work of the MP is legislation. Legislation, it simply means that instead of getting fighting to get the CDF money, they should have been fighting to make it a law such that we have free secondary education. Why can't they fight in Parliament so that people can have free secondary education? Yeah, why do they need this money? This money is a bribe. It is simply a bribe. We should always condemn it. It is simply a bribe. And you can see the developments done by CDF, how some MPs have done so well with it. Others have seriously abused it. I can say by and large also that there are other MPs out there who are utilizing the CDF properly. But again, if CDF was solely meant to pay your school fees for your children, then secondary education should be free. Secondary education should be free. That money should be channeled to give us free secondary education, so that parents are only left to pay for university. Yeah, and the government can chip in some money allocation, or this can increase allocation on help loans to university students. So this money is a waste. This money has been abused before. There are no checks and balances. Each and every time we hear that they can't quantify how much they have used in terms of the billions they have received. And remember, Leo, this is 250 million. Now they are being told that just plant trees in the name of climate change, and you'll be accountable for the CDF that you have received for the year. That is why the climate has been has been robbed in there. So it's making it even much easier for them to steal the money. Yeah, so they will continue stealing. And sad to say, maybe Mr. G, if it was the cost of living and they would have come out in parliament like that, then they would have had a very big impact on the cost of fuel. But since it was money that was going into their pocket, they came, all of them came out. But if it was something that involves us directly, they don't want. If it is something that involves the high cost of living, taxation, you don't see them coming out in parliament and condemning it in a bipartisan way. So these MPs, especially this parliament, is the most useless parliament in the history of the Republic of Kenya. This is the most useless, ineffective parliament that we have seen in the entire history of our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really, I think there are people who also resonate with that if an MP can go on air and say, if there is no CDF, then there is no parliament. They're forgetting that parliament is a legislative house, and the main reason people go there is to make laws. I would have rather think that you would have said that, okay, if there is no bursary, or if there is no CDF, then we are going to make a law to do such and such a thing. So saying there's no parliament, it means the parliament starts and stops with the national government constituency development funds. What is your thought, Mr. G?
I think I will agree with what Mr. Mzalendo has just said. Although, yeah, I will agree with what he said, because at the last point he said that we have some MPs about they are doing well with this amount, this money in mambo ya pesa CDF. We have few members of parliament ambao wametumia vizuri sana, and they have paid school fees for people na wamefanya development in schools. We have seen it, but others tumeona ikuwa tu ni pesa za kuliwa, wanakula tu pesa. So for me, as much as I may not agree with the same about the same issue on bursaries, at a point also we need the CDF, because we have families ambao haijiwezi kabisa, families that have no money, watu wao hawafanyi kazi, and they always depend on these CDFs, although it is not the work of parliament, of the MPs. As Mzalendo said, it's not the work of MPs to pay for this school fees. The school fees and everything concerning mambo ya kuweka chakula kwa table, the children going to school, this is something that should be done by the government. The same way vile baba alikuwa anasema, when he comes in, alikuwa anasema atafanya primary iwe free, atafanya secondary iwe free. That is the work of the government. But now when you see the MPs coming out wakisema no parliament, and no hakuna section ambao atakuwa nao kwa parliament if they are not given this money, I think it's just because they want to steal this money. Some of them kuna pesa ambao wanataka kuweka kando kwa mfuko zao ili they can do their own things ambao is not beneficial to the children ambao hawaendi shuleni sahi, to the families ambao hawezi peleka watoto shuleni. Those money wanataka kuiba, that's why they are coming out. As Mzalendo said, by that time, kama ile wakati wa ile bill ambayo ilipitishwa kwa bunge, if wangeza kutoka by that time watoke na wafanye kitu ambao walifanya hii venye walifanya juzi hii mambo ya riot kwa sababu ya bursaries, I think tungeona kuwa at least there's something ambao they're rioting for something ambayo ilikuwa inakuja kuumiza watu, but we saw wakati walileta hiyo bill hakuna kitu kama ilifanyika. In fact walinunuliwa, most of them walinunuliwa na wakapitisha that bill. So the few ambao walipinga au kwa na uwezo wa kuizuia, sasa hivi wamejitokeza kwa sababu ya nini, ya bursary, just to show that they are greedy. These guys, it just shows that they are greedy. But also on the other hand, the government, hatuoni kama the government can stand with the people, because in the issue of bursary and on the issue of children going to school free, look at what happened juzi. I think Mr. Leo, you saw the report ambayo ilitolewa juzi na the mama, huyu mama wa budget control, alitonga jina lake na sahau, Anyang'ao na sahau jina lake. Yeah, that woman, he gave out a report, and just imagine on the report there's a place ambayo aliongea kuwa 780 something billions zimetumika, na 700 imetumika only on salaries and 83 billions imetumika on project on development. Sasa just look at the proportion, the ratio. If you can use 700 billion just on salaries, alafu 83, which is almost around 5%, 5 to 6% of the money linatumika to development, that means that this government is not ready to deliver to his people. Kwa sababu hata ukiangalia, hata ukijaribu kucompare the ratio, I don't think if that 700 inatosha ndio ile pesa ambayo imetumika kwa mshahara. No, the same way you mama alituambia kuwa before that report, alituambia kuwa there's something that have been going on this issue of salaries. Tunapata mtu analipwa kitu kama 200, lakini ukienda kwa budget imeandikwa kama 300 ama 400,000. Usi, na huko anapewa only 100. Sasa tukiangalia that budget, hiyo budget, na tunaangalia ile pesa ambayo imewekwa pale kama 700 billion, tunaona kuwa hii pesa ni billions of money ambazo zimeibiwa, zimeenda kwa mfuko ya watu. Because there's no way those money 700 billion inaweza aenda tu yote kwa salary, alafu tuseme hiyo kitu ni kitu ambayo imetumika kiukweli. No, haijatumika kiukweli. Those are just corrupt people ambao tuliweka kwa kiti, and now they found time na wamepata chance na loophole ya kutuibia, na wanatuibia.
I get it. Another interesting thing that Kenyans are really interested in knowing, it's something that happened. There is load shedding. There are some terms that were used yesterday by Energy CS Davis Chirchir, trying to explain what happened on a Sunday, whereby there was a blackout, and the blackout is so frequent because it is not happening for the first time. And most attention was drawn to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where they say it is really shaming the country. Though I don't know why people were so attentive when it comes to the Jomo Kenyatta Airport, but nobody thought of the hospitals that maybe did not have the generator backups. I don't know why people did not think of that. They were so quick to say that, okay, it's not dangerous if there's no power at the airport, and forgot that there are so many people who maybe lost their lives, those ones who are in ICU, yeah, and some of the hospitals that are not having maybe some proper power backups. We have those people who are just doing their businesses, those ones who are, there are so many critical places that Kenyans forgot. So the recommendations by the CS, he really screamed of having what is called power rationing on the card, and in the Western Kenya, we are now going to start having power rationing. So I don't know, what is your take on this? Do you think power rationing will be able to sort out the issue, and what is the effect of power rationing? And why can't we just think of getting some other sources of power like the solar? Solar is there, but solar is expensive in Kenya. Not that it should be expensive, but I'm told it is really expensive because of the licensing. The government, through the Ministry of Energy, has really been trying to frustrate some alternative power sources like these common generators that you buy, and the solar panels, and those companies dealing with the solar, they'll tell you that there's a lot of some requirements that they need for them to be able to set up. And even you, the law bars you, there's some laws that were said that even stops you from buying a solar and going to install it. There's some qualifications that you need. There's a lot of taxation that makes people, when you consider or maybe think of buying solar panel, then you find it so expensive. And the only people who are now in the market are the ones that you normally see, like, I don't know, they're called them copper, such kind of companies that are really exploiting Kenyans. You find that they sell for you some panels, but by the time you'll be finishing to pay the panel, already it will be worn out. So it's really a burden. And that one makes the KPLC, which is a monopoly, appear to be cheaper, when in real sense, Kenya is the one that is selling power or the energy really expensive if you compare among our peers in Africa and maybe Eastern Africa. So what are your takes on this? We are talking of power rationing. Is it the best thing, or we should just encourage some fair competition and allow other people in the market so that the price or the cost of power can really be low? And these power breakups happen. You find the entire country is in dark simply because there's only one supplier. Don't you think it would have been better if we have different suppliers? Like in a country where I am, when you feel like the company that is supplying your power is not efficient, you simply change to another one. Yeah, they have their poles there. So if you feel these guys are not responding quickly, you change to another one. So by that, these people always kept on toes. They ensure that they work and check everything is in order. So Mzalendo, what do you think should be done? And on the other side, you can also see Murkomen is talking of people trying to sabotage him. Do you think for Murkomen is a political witch hunt? Yesterday, I had an engagement with a guy from Nandi, and it was like there is a battle between the Nandi and Elgero Marakwet, whereby he was telling you that Murkomen is a cattle rustler, comes from a cattle rustling community, and Nandis are more elites. So they've been a war between Cherargei and Murkomen. Could it be that there is some sabotage and some political witch hunt simply to derail Murkomen?
Yeah. There's that angle of the Kipsigis community. Kipsigis are regarded more intelligent and more educated than the rest of the people who are coming from Rift Valley. We have seen their performance even when we had Kosgei as the Minister of Education. He really did well there. So Kipsigis, they are performers, and maybe that is cultural. That one, leave it to them. Let us go back to the issues that now are at hand right now. You are the same person or the same team that normally says that we cannot privatize state parastatals. At the same time, you are saying that we should invite other players to supply electricity. But when the president puts it open that people can come in and take over Kenya Power and these other parastatals that are doing poorly, then people in the opposition are up at arms. No, we can't do this. Oh, we can't do that. You see, this is for service delivery and for efficiency.
Mzalendo, so you just maybe you just make it clear so that we don't get lost or we don't get confused. There is privatization and there is something called monopoly. So when we privatize Kenya Power, it simply means the private investor who is going to take over Kenya Power is still going to join the monopoly. So bringing in different or more players mean we have somebody with similar services that like the one Kenya Power is giving us, but it is a different entity. But taking the same monopoly as a company and giving it to an investor, I think that is more dangerous because this is an investor that is going to benefit monopoly. So can you just draw some difference between privatizing and monopolizing?
I wanted you to elaborate the danger and tell me what danger it is for a private, a Kenyan citizen to come and run a company. And I also tried to explain to you at some point that when the government is selling, when the government owns Kenya Power, then it means that it has got majority of the shares in Kenya Power. It doesn't mean that Kenya Power is not, or somebody else cannot buy shares in Kenya Power, or people, other individuals don't own Kenya Power. It simply means that Kenya Power can sell the majority, the government can sell its majority share on that particular company for a private entity, so that we improve on efficiency. What a private individual brings in is it brings in new technology where government has failed. It brings in personnel that will improve on services, on issues of blackouts and all that. He comes and tries to solve that problem because he's in business. He is in business and he wants to ensure that he gains profits out of it. Now, bringing another entity, government opening the energy sector and bringing in new players to and giving them licenses to provide the same services brings the cost of electricity down. It brings the competition that is needed in the industry. That thus brings the cost down. Right now, we are in the age of climate change. People are looking for renewable energy. What is renewable energy? The solar panels. These are things that can come duty free to your counties. But look at the bogus counties that you have. You have governors who don't even think that they can provide free solar panels, courtesy of donations from the United Nations to provide for the locals. Yeah, you don't have, governments have got programs whereby they can provide solar panels to each and every individual who is having a home, so that we can have solar on your rooftop and have a payment plan over the years for this solar panels. Even if they are donations, then have some minimal payment plan that you give back to the government because they have given you these solar panels. These things are happening all over the world, but we have governors who they think like, starting a football tournament is the most important thing that the community needs, or or uh, or having a fashion whatever, zinaitwaje hizi vitu za catwalk, yeah, is the most important thing that we need him or her to perform. So some of these things we need to think very, very deep, and they are important. Leo, they are important. Remember, a governor in a particular county can make laws that the national government cannot interfere with. That is why we have a national county assembly in each and every county, in each and every 47 counties. These laws are county laws, and they cannot be interfered with the national government. If the county government decides to have an alternative police force that protects its citizens at the county level because the national government has failed, then it will just allocate a budget for that. Yeah, a budget for that and protects its citizen. So we need to keep on pressing, keep on giving the right information to these people, so that we can have them look into service delivery. The issue of blackout nationally, it is a shame. In 60 years, we still have blackouts. What is the cost? The cost is that we lost millions of shillings on this particular day that there was blackout. What is the cost when Churchill tells you that Western and Nyanza will have rationing? Then it means that the business people, the money that the welders used to get will not be there. It means that you'll not get your cold soda because you depend on the fridge. It would mean that some of the facilities will not will not perform at optimum. Yeah. So some of these things we need to really tell the national government and especially Ruto that it is high time we look into nuclear energy as an alternative source of providing power. Yeah, power that is reliable. Power that is reliable. Even if it is going to give us a percentage of power, then we need to look at nuclear power as an alternative source of energy. And that's my take.
Yes, Mr. G, we are back to you. And this power outrage, and they've talked of rationing, power rationing. Will it work? Nyinyi ndio wale watu mnapiga biashara. So how will this one work?
No, on the issue of power rationing, I think it will be a disadvantage to our people. More so these businessmen. Some people all out and back on things like easy butcheries, the shopkeepers, humans wazao zitaribika. And remember, this issue of rationing, I think there's a time that it was used in South Africa. Discuss story kama something like that. In South Africa, kumekuwa na some rationing, and people in South Africa are badly affected by this rationing. Kwa sababu unapata in a day, maybe stima inaweza kuja for only 2 to 3 hours. The remaining hours stima imepotea because of that rationing. Ama tuseme stima inakuja kuanzia saa 6 asubuhi, saa 6 mchana mpaka saa 2 usiku, alafu tena inapotea. So you find that we have some small businesses, watu wa kinyozi, watu wa saloon wataumia sana. Even the welders ambao nani ameongea, ambao Mzalendo ameongelea, people will be affected. So rationing cannot work, and I think we need to have some alternative. You know, I don't know. Okay, you talked about the issue of blackout that have been exposed highly. Hii ya nini JKA airport, and yet we know that airport has money, kwa inaingiza pesa, whereby this thing, hii mambo ya blackout haifai kwa inaappear every time and then. Sahi I believe wangekuwa na generator ambayo ingekuwa ina work automatic by the moment steam inapotea, ina nini generator ina take up, ama ingekuwa na a small power station yake like in Kenya Port Authority. In Kenya Port Authority, it is an industry ambayo ni big, but it has a small power station yake kando, tofauti kabisa na hii ambayo inatumika Kenya Power. Hii iko na yake within the Kenya the port. Na wacha hivyo, still tena imeimplement this issue ya nini, hii issue ya inaitwa ngaje, hizi nini za jua hizi zinaitwa ngaje, hizi za
solar
yeah panel. They also implement wako na solar, yeah, solar panels pia port wameleta wako nayo. So at any time steam inapotea, Kenya Port Authority haikui affected sana because iko na his own power station kando, na pia kuna solar pia imewekwa pale iko kando. So when you look at what is happening at JKA na ile kitu ambayo inaendelea with this government, I think this is just a sabotage within. Ni kitu ambayo inafanyiwa deliberately. They are just sabotaging these things deliberately so that they can come out alafu waseme kuwa these institutions does not working, we can sell them ama we can privatize them. You know, Mr. Mzalendo, you spoke about Azimio being against privatization, but I can tell you it's not that all institutions Azimio is against the privatization. No, Azimio, it is against privatization kwa sababu we are looking at some institutions ambazo we see like it is a sabotage within, and it's being done deliberately by this government so that ionekane kwa kitu haifanyi kazi, tunafaa tupeane watu wengine. Look at something like KICC. Okay, KICC maybe inaweza kuwa haileti pesa mingi sana, but KICC is something that it is how can I call it, that is the symbol of a nation, our Kenya. Mpaka hata iko kwa noti zetu, iko kwa pesa zetu. That is a symbol of a nation whereby hatuwezi sema tunauza kitu kama hiyo. We need to find a mechanism whereby we can find it being usable na iweze kugenerate some cash. Lakini tukiongea kuhusu mambo ya privatize, I think that thing does not make sense. So most of these institutions zimekuwa sabotaged within deliberately so that the president, like kama today, he will be talking, anaweza ongelea vitu kama hizo, aseme kuwa kitu kama hiyo, unaona sasa Kenya Power imefail because of what is happening. I think we need to sell this thing, give people who can work on it, collect a profit, and then he look for another peer institution ambazo zimekuwa sabotaged within, na nasema kwa hizi vitu hazina maana Kenya, we need to privatize them. Look at something like this guy anaitwa Rai. I think Rai was brought in by the regime ya Uhuru Kenyatta. And I think he's a businessman. Ambaye ako na his own business in Kenya,
That's
and he
great.
has also business in, yeah.
Mr. G, I'm saying it's okay, just proceed, and I just want to take Kenyans to the venue. Umejua huyu rais tuko naye ni rais anaanza vitu mapema, so nataka nipeleke wa Kenya pale waweze kujua ni nini inaendelea. So baby, you can just give some remarks hivi tukiendelea, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is
the president is already getting there. So sorry nitakuinterrupt.
Okay, just weka tu hiyo video iendelee as much as tunaendelea kuongelea, but wacha tu hiyo video iendelee kuonyesha. Yeah. So Mzalendo, I was saying that this thing mostly kuwa inafanyiwa sabotage within so that ionekane kuwa ni mbaya. Wakati inaonekana kuwa ni mbaya, now the president na ile uongo wake anaweza tokezea kama ametokezea leo, unaona amevaa suti, akuja aanze kuongea uongo, aseme venye kitu haifanyi kazi, just kupata mileage ndio aseme kitu kinafaa iuzwe. But in the real sense, there's nothing wrong with some of these institutions. These are institutions that ambao zimekuwa sabotage within. Look at
wewe nyamaza, tusikie wimbo ya taifa.
Hiyo hata hakuna maana kwa saa hii. Huyu mtu ashatuharibia nchi. Hii hata nyimbo hakuna kitu inatusaidia.
Ngoja president wake bwana.
Huyo mtu afai bwana.
Unafaa usikilie.
Mzalendo, saa zile tunasikiza generally these stadiums are always fully packed and watu wao wanashindwa. The sign of that Kenyans are communicating wamechoka. Maybe it's possible to give your opinion as you proceed. Just have a look at the stadium and tell me what is it communicating. People lost ile tamaa ya kwenda kusikiza rais, ile tamaa ya kwenda kwa hizi celebrations. These days, ukitembea kwa barabara watu wamevaa kofia za Kenya, wamefunga leso za flag and such like things, na si gala na kila kitu. What changed?
Yeah, I think leo hii sauti ungemute ya watu ambao tunaendelea kupiga makelele huku. At least tunaweza tuona picha. Alafu tuendelee kuongea kwa sababu the moment tunaongea wakiwa wanapiga hizo makelele hata hatusikii. Kama mimi sijasikia what you are saying. Sijapata kabisa uko unasema nini.
I think sasa unanipata. Nilikuwa naambia Mzalendo, initially whenever we had this kind of national celebration, watu walikuwa wanachangamka, kiwanja imejaa, hadi watu wanazoiliwa kuingia kwa sababu kila mtu anataka kupateki in it. Within the estates and villages, women wamefunga leso zile za Kenya, wanaume wamevaa kofia za Kenya, people dressed like there's a special occasion. So what changed?
Maybe wacha nikujibu. We are with time you will not even have the interest of attending this functions because you'll be too busy trying to make money, and these are just state functions. So the Kenyans who normally attend these celebrations, most of them are mobilized by political class. I can assure you, they are mobilized to attend the particular functions. It has always been like that. I remember Jamhuri Day celebrations during Moi's time. It was mandatory that your school had to attend. Yeah, had to attend, and we were ferried there. We were given lunch there, and we filled up the stadium. We sang for the president. Yeah, you remember how we used to sing for Moi. Tulikuwa tunamwimba, yani tunamsifu kabisa kabisa kabisa. So these things are becoming a thing of the past, and it shows that we are changing some of our traditions. So if you expected us to do things like in 1964, then know that welcome to 2023, Mr. Leo. 2023, we look at things in a different way. We can't look at things like the way they used to happen in the 80s. And with the technology also, like Afriq TV, now you have Afriq here. You can watch it in the comfort of your living room. You don't have to go to the stadium. Then we didn't have even mobile phones to see what is happening. So we were excited to go to see the president. Even to have just a look at the motorcade of the president was a plus. You'll have something to talk about at the end of the day. Yeah, even just looking at the way he's marching, then that would be, a topic of that day. I know Mr. G is imagining other things, and they won this. This would have been your first Jamhuri Day celebrations. Yeah, smiling. Yeah, with Baba now being escorted to the dais by.
But Mzalendo, I can assure you that if Baba was the one marching like huyo mtu ambaye ana kichwa kama kunguru, I'm telling you, hiyo sahi hapo nini ingekuwa imejaa, the studio sahi ingekuwa full. But look at what used to happen. Ngoja, I have a visitor. Just a moment. Let me look at him first. Let me attend to this guy. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Samson.
So you say that things have gone digital, eh?
Gwaride hivi sasa akiomba idhini kuweza kuendelea na gwaride punde tu Mheshimiwa Rais atakapochukua nafasi yake kwenye jukwaa maalum.
Kumbe leo ni holiday, ha? Leo ni holiday Kenya.
Yeah, it's really holiday and
oh, no wonder Mr. G today nimekuona kwako. I always see you in the office. I'm like, damn, yeah. Una complain bana, uchumi ni mbaya na unaishi kwa nyumba iko na bell ina ring namna hii. Unaongeaga ni kama mtu anaishi Kibira. Angalia hii watu. Kuna kwambia watu wanadanganya watu hapa kwa social media. Ati tunaumia uchumi na uko na bell hapo maintain vizuri inalia ding ding, Mr. G, are you around?
No, bell si kitu yote. Bell si tunaweka tu. Bell ni kitu shilingi 50 basi.
Hapa pengine umeweka ile umeweka ile kasuku, ile parrot hapo ina welcome ukitoka kazini na gazeti. Mr. G, karibu nyumbani.
Mzalendo, life is tough, bana. Life is very tough here in Kenya. Life is
Let
very
me
tough.
tell you, despite, I want to tell you one thing. Just the other day, I was paying insurance, my car insurance for 2 vehicles at an equivalent of 20,000 Kenyan shillings per month. Now the insurance provider this month provided me a bill of 50,000 per month for the same vehicle, and they said that that is the rate that you have to pay because of inflation. Yeah, the figures have gone up. I can't complain. You would just have to pay. If you don't pay, you don't get the services. So some of these things are dictated by the market. So as much as tutapiga kelele, we leo reduce volume ya hii kitu bana. Hapo ni sawa. Hapo ni sawa. Ndio nakwambia inflation iko kila mahali. Cost ya mafuta iko juu kila mahali. Mahali huku ukiangalia mtandaoni, ukiangalia bei ya bidhaa ziko kila mahali, kila kitu iko juu. Ukiangalia bei ya petroli mahali kama Nigeria, mahali wako na mafuta, bei ya mafuta iko juu. Sasa sijui mnaongeaga nini sasa zingine.
Hatujakataa kwa maisha iko hali ya maisha iko juu, but look at what was happening in Kenya. Do you know that sometimes back, I think it was 1 month ago, I think it's 1 month ago, wakati hii vita iko inaendelea, hii vita ya Israel na nini, Israel na Palestine na watu wa Hamas. Do you know that nani came out? Chirichiri, CS Chirichiri came out, alafu akatuambia kwa mafuta inaenda kupanda kwa sababu ya hiyo vita ya Israel na nini. Nakumbuka that is the time ambao Tanzania walikuwa wamesema kuwa mafuta inaenda kushuka. You see, na other countries walikuwa wamesema mafuta inaenda kushuka, but he came out akatuambia kwa mafuta inaenda kupanda kwa sababu ya vita ya Palestine na Israel. Why? Kwa sababu Kenya there is corruption ambayo inaendelea, and it took nani intervention of Azimio people ambao walitoka wakasema, wakapiga kelele wakasema hii haiwezekani. Countries zote zinasema mafuta inashuka. How come you people in Kenya ndio mnasema kwa sababu ya hii vita ya Israel na Palestine ndio mnaongeza mafuta? And that is when mafuta kafuka kidogo. In Kenya things are done deliberately. Hatuwezi compare what is happening in Kenya with what is happening in the whole world.
Wacha ndio nakwambia, unajua, yes, wacha nikwambie, I've been looking at what is happening in this government critically. There are some decisions that they have gone absolutely wrong when it comes to taxation. Wamekosea kabisa overtaxing the citizens. Kuna mahali wamekosea kabisa. And now what comes to my mind is that Ruto's government, there are insiders who are really sabotaging his government. Wale wanafanya kwa hiyo serikali, they are really sabotaging and trying to make things not work for him. What is happening here?
Mzalendo, just a minute. We are still live. There is somebody who said something that I just wanted maybe to remind you. It's good for your information, that the cost of fuel in the US has gone down. You've been insincere, and I think that when you agree, the cost of fuel has gone down. And there's also this notion that people keep comparing, that you see, like, look, I'm in the US, I'm paying this one for insurance, and you people in Kenya, what we are paying in the US is maybe, look, I'm in the US. For example, where I am, if I want to buy a loaf of bread, I'll buy it at $1. $1 is around 155 Kenyan shillings right now, but in Kenya it is around 60. It is true, but it also depends with the economy. Then you people in the US, you are paying tax at a certain amount, or you are paying your insurance at a certain amount, but you are getting value for your money. You are getting services for those things.
We agree. Listen,
so in
Leo,
Kenya, the problem is we don't get value for our money.
Listen, Leo, when I used to buy a burger for $1, and then I buy it for $2 now, it means that it has increased by another $1. That's an increment. The cost of fuel in the US, Sabrina, as I might correct you, it depends on the state that you are in. Every day, the pump prices are not consistent. Every day, the pump prices are regulated in a way, in response to the market. Kesho naweza amka nipate bei ya mafuta, wacha nikwambie, kesho naweza amka nipate bei ya mafuta ni $4. Hiyo ni karibu $4, ni karibu 500-600 ya Kenya. Haya, the next day nikiamka naweza pata imerudi chini na another $1, karibu ni 400 sasa, from 600 to 400. Hivyo kesho tena ndapata imepanda, depending on vile market zinaenda, ndio mafuta inakuwa. Kuna wakati when inflation is so bad, bei ya mafuta imepanda juu sana, but they have a way of regulating it. We are not saying that whatever, hata kama wakiweka juu hivyo wanatumia taxes zetu vizuri, hiyo ni sawa, lakini ikipanda imepanda, ikishuka imeshuka. Yeah. So Kenya ni ile tuko na wezi, na nimekwambia hii serikali ukae kujua ile serikali ya hapo awali ya Uhuru Kenyatta na Ruto, kulikuwa na wandani wa Uhuru bado wako serikalini kwa hii serikali ya Ruto, kuna wandani wa Uhuru bado wanafanya kwa hii serikali ambao hawawezi toka kulingana na mkataba ile wako nayo, waliandikishwa kazi. Kuna wale Ruto wamewaandika, kuna wale bado wanaegemea pande ya Uhuru, wale wazingatii Uhuru Ruto kama rais wao. So there could be a lot of sabotage happening in government also. Usione tu serikali ikakuwa
no,
jamaa
but Mzalendo, on the issue of sabotage, hatuwezi sema ni kwa sababu ya wale wandani ambao waliandikwa na Uhuru ndo wanafanya. I think power nani ako nayo, the president has power to sack those people. Look at what I was talking about, the report that the control of budget issued juzi. Inasema kuwa these people in the whole year they have been collecting taxes from the civil servants, wakikata those levies, but kumbe hawakuwa wanalipa NHIF, hawakuwa wanalipa nini, hawakuwa wanalipa inaitwanga aje hii retirement, inaitwanga vipi pesa ya retirement ya retire ya watu wa retire, they were not paying. Na kumbuka NSSF, they were not paying.
Wacha nikwambie,
even to KRA they have not been paying the money now they collect.
Hii ni kitu inafanyika kwa
kwamba bendera hizi zimeweza kuandaliwa.
I didn't see that leo
kwa kipindi cha maombi.
That could be an issue, that could not be an issue. The car insurance goes up because you either you are involved in an accident, you are a reckless driver and things like that. Yes, credit can also be part of it, but if you are locked in the first time you paid your insurance, that cannot be a really big issue. If you pay your insurance in time, then the credit is not a big issue. Car insurance goes up, Sabrina, when you are involved in so many traffic offenses, or you have had somebody in your policy who is new in driving. So all those I'm aware of. Now back to the story, Leo. Sabrina ana confuse thought yangu kila saa. Tulikuwa tunaongea jua nini?
Jia sabotage within. Ile ambao unasema maybe wandani wa Uhuru ndo wana sabotage. Nikana kuambia wandani wa Uhuru wa sabotage anything. The government is incompetent. That's why I was giving an example of what
yes, I wanted to bring unaona ile story umeleta ile mzuri ni unaona kama remittance ya NHIF, remittance ya NSSF, hizo ni pesa zile zinadidaktiwa directly by your company, meaning that if you work in government parastatal, it is inakatwa immediately na employer wako, then at the end of the month they are supposed to give that money to that other parastatal. That is how it works. Now this parastatal, most of them, since wanajua and the government pia wale wana hold hii pesa, since wanajua Mr. G hawatahitaji hii pesa ya NSSF bado yuko kazini, they have got a long way to retire, wanaeka hii pesa kwa biashara zingine. That's why NSSF is involved in a lot of other businesses that they are not supposed to be doing. Yeah, kazi yao ni ku maintain hiyo pesa yako ya retirement, and once it doesn't come in good time and you retire and you can't get it in ikusaidie huko mbele, then inakuwa ni bure kabisa. So mostly our companies holding this money and refusing to remit it, na bado ni uzembe wa kazi. Ukiona mtu aje hiyo pesa ijapeanwa, right now Ruto is very lenient. It should be sucking people. Vuta watu kazi, andika watu wale wanaweza fanyia Wakenya kazi. That's how it's done. Yeah, mimi ningevuta watu kazi because kama NSSF pesa imekulu ama pesa haionekani mali iko na controller budget amesema hivi, watu wanafaa kwenda nyumbani. Hakuna story nyingine. Ni nini hapa tunabishana?
mzalendo, hakuna vile watenda nyumbani kwa sababu this government it is gifting the people, the friends jobs. Inawapatia kazi wale marafiki zao. Let me share to you a picture, alafu you post here. There's a picture I want to send to you. Alafu just post it here. Kwa hiyo muone hiyo picha alafu utaniambia ni kina nani hao.
Patia leo. Iko wapi bana? Hao ni kina nani? Leo chukua hiyo picha, mimi sina. Leo niko kwa simu.
But you also need to know kuna wale watu who normally sit on this thing called NSSF, and the COTU chairman as the president of the umbrella of workers is also a member of the NSSF, that is Francis Atwoli. And at some time there were some allegations that Ruto, when he was the deputy president, he was using some of the senior officials to get some money from NSSF, because this is money that is normally lying there. You contribute and you'll only access it after you've reached your retirement age, which is minimum 55 years. And you're not retiring today, and they know that one very well. So what these guys do, some of them are, this loan money is loaned to people. That is why we also have to get interest out of what we've saved. But there is a lot of corruption and some malpractices. Ruto already was mentioned some time back, and how it came to happen that Atwoli is working together with him is also a mystery. Tell you that there are people who are dishonest in this country. Yeah.
Atwoli was Baba's advisor.
Leo there's a picture ambayo nimekutumia. It's a sort of a video but ni just a picture. Niko nataka just to share it, alafu mzalendo aniambie ni kina nani hao, na sahi kwa government ni kina nani kwa government sahi. That's why we will never kill this corruption under this government, kwa sababu this government is just incompetent. They are just rewarding their friends with jobs. They are not looking at the incompetent of people. They are not looking at the skillful people to be given the jobs. But wanapatiana marafiki zao, and the corruption continues. When you talk about tribalism, mentioning one tribe like kama sahi, unapata almost all CEOs ni wa Kalenjin. Unapata ma MDs, most of them ni Kalenjin. The board of governors, the board of what, sijui wale ambao wanasimamia nini, most of them wanatoka huko from one tribe. Hiyo kitu haiwezi maliza corruption ambayo inaendelea sasa. As much as we know that even those communities we have people who are skillful, ambao wanaweza fanya kazi, they are skillful, they know, but these people they always reward their friends.
That they may be an abiding symbol of our duty towards our president and towards our country, and a sign of our resolve to guard, preserve, and sustain the great tradition of bravery, self-sacrifice, of which we are proud inheritors. We ask this in the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty, ever-living God, source of all blessings, graciously hear our humble prayers and bless your heavenly blessing these carrots which you have been prepared to use in peace and war. Grant that those who hope in you, that they may become bulwark in peace and assurance of victory in war. For you are the God who showers with your heavenly protection those who put their trust in you. Through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever.
Mzalendo, I hope you saw the clip, the picture. Those guys ambao wamesimama hapo, I don't know if you know them. Mzalendo. Am I audible? Mzalendo ama mzalendo amelala?
Mzalendo ni kama amelala.
Mzalendo, uliona hiyo picha ya muted na tukusikia umemute?
Nimeona kina Chirchir pale. Nimeona kina Chirchir pale. Nimeona watu wale walisoma pamoja, marafiki.
Yeah. And those people that the one ambao sasa wako kwa vyeo. Umeona wote?
So hii ni nini? Hii inasaidiaje hii serikali? Hii kitu wanafanya hapo kwa kiwanja sasa?
No, hii ni maombi wanaomba. Hii ni kuomba wanaomba. Wanaomba.
Oh.
Hii ni prayer. I think these are Catholic. I think if it's not a Catholic, I think ni Anglican. Ndio wanaomba hivyo.
Mbona Wahindi wako?
Au ni Catholic, sasa wanapuliza kitu inaitwa au sio Catholic, hiyo ni Anglican. No, ni Catholic ya ubani, wanaita ubani. They are burning some
Catholic wavaa hii kitamba nyekundu hii
kitamba. But they also have a similar thing.
Hii ni Anglican. Sabrina Ayan, kuja kwa come in the studio and you have got very pregnant points. Come in the studio and we share with you. Wacha kukaa hapo kwa comment section. Stop staying on the comment section for long. Come in the studio. In
the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
Oh, Uru Gardens, huh?
Yes.
I was wondering where this was. This is Uru Gardens.
Let these colors be an abiding symbol of duty towards our president and towards our country, and sign of our resolve to God.
Mr. G, one day Kenya will be the country that we all love. Under whose leadership?
Yeah, your effort will not go in vain. After 5 years, tutakuwa na uongozi bora.
Under this leadership ama leadership nyingine? Under this one ama under another leadership?
Reign and exercise their
power. You are given, every 5 years you are given an opportunity to elect another leader. So after 5 years, wata tuone huyo mwingine atatupatia nini kama atachaguliwa. So we will naona Secretary General wa Azimio ameingia. SG SG bwana leo we have a guest
through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
SG, wacha niingize SG hapo. Though I'm creating something on the other end, kidogo tu mtanisamehea, mtaendelea tu.
SG, habari gani bana?
Tuko salama.
Bana, we are celebrating 60 years of independence. And what can you say about it? What is your opinion?
It's 60 years of misery.
Yeah,
60 years. 60 years of pain. Yeah?
60 years of pain. I mean, what are the gains as a country? What have we gained as a country? Vis-a-vis, where have we gone wrong? Where have we gone wrong? After independence, where did we go wrong?
I think we were not ready.
We were not ready.
Go therefore in the peace.
Mr. G.
Your mandate.
No, I was saying our general haonekani. Can we remove this banner and this our general haonekani bana? Hatuoni sura ya our general.
Ngoja.
Hii banner inaweza tolewa kidogo alafu aonekane.
To do what is right.
Generally anatolewa bana tu sahi.
His power and protection be with you now.
He's driving definitely. SG, I agree with you. Just elaborate. We were not ready for independence.
Yeah, we were not ready for independence, Bana. What we were ready for is to, I mean, I wish hata wazungu wangekaa kidogo.
I have always said that 100%. We didn't need independence.
Wangekaa kidogo because the kind of people we have now, and we have been having anyway, successful governments. Tumeona the black colonizers are worse than the white colonizers. Because Waafrika wanapenda sana, wanapenda kujipenda sana. And that is where the problem has always been.
Mr. G, I agree with this. I have argued this every time.
Yes.
Tungepata independence hapa 1980,
89, 92 hapo.
88 hapa, we would be, tungekuwa mbali kushinda hata South Africa.
Wewe unafikiri mzungu anaweza iba choo? Mzungu. Hata kama hajaokoka, achukue choo kama ile ilichukuliwa pale Haile Selassie, ajenge petrol station. Unajua kuna choo ilichukuliwa hapo na Biwot, mimi naijua. Pale kwa kona Haile Selassie hapo kwa kona kwa Mr. Nganga. Pastor Nganga. Kuna petrol station iko hapo saa hii ni Rubis. It was initially the public toilet.
Imagine, na akajenga
petrol station.
Mimi nakwambia hii race ya Afrika sasa zingine tumerogwa. Angalia zile nchi zimepata independence late.
Yes.
Angalie.
Hata wakina Liberia, they are doing better. Botswana.
Angalia Botswana, angalia South Africa hii vile walitoa
nakwambia isipokuwa ni Southern Sudan, of which haikupata independent kwa sababu walikuwa tu wanagawiwa nchi. All other countries that got independence late are much more better.
Africans have got a problem in terms of governance. Tumeshindwa kabisa. Ni akili ndogo ndio tuko nayo ama ni nini? I
don't know. Mimi naona kama ni kama laana hii. It's like a curse, man. It's like a curse.
Wewe Mr. G, hebu niulize tu. Yaani mtu anaingia uongozi. Even good example, look at the governor, the leader for Germany, huyu aliwacha juzi huyu mama. Huyu mama alikuwa prime minister, ni chancellor wa Germany. Huyu mama alikuwa anaitwa nani? Mesha alikuwa anaitwa Michael or somebody.